Oh, brother, is this one sort of interesting card? Find out what I'm talking about as I hereby summon all my imps to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So today we're talking about one of the new cards that's coming into Marvel Snap, and that is Havok. We're going to talk a little bit about his powers and his background and his abilities and where he worked. So let's talk about that real quick. So let's start off with his background story. Havok, also known as Alex Summers, is the brother to Scott Summers, also known as Cyclops. But unfortunate childhood events separated them at a young age. After being put into an orphanage, he was soon adopted by a loving family who saw him as their son. Havok's powers first emerged accidentally when a stress-induced plasma bolt hit the school bully who just threatened his adopted family. This killed the bully, but with the help of Mister Sinister, the memory of this event was removed and some genetic locks were placed, keeping him accident-free until after graduating from college. Havok got kidnapped by the living pharaoh one day and was brought to near death. This is when his mutant powers became active again. The X-Men came to save Havok, and Cyclops knew his brother was a mutant also then. Havok befriended Wolverine and the other X-Men, and they shared many adventures. While Cyclops and Havok do not always agree, they always have each other's back. They are happy to be a family again, but they do not know there are some family members left who the two brothers might not want to meet. Havok's powers are that Havok can absorb and metabolize cosmic energy, which he can then release as waves of plasma energy. Havok's ability to absorb energy and convert it into something powerful is represented in Marvel Snap by him pulling energy from you each turn and giving him more power. Havok is a 2/0 whose ability is static. After each turn, you lose 1 max energy and it gains 1 plus 4 power. So just for a little bit of a note on this card that a lot of people have said about. When you play this on turn 2, you are stuck at 2 energy for the rest of the game. If you play this on turn 3, you're stuck at 3 energy for the rest of the game, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about some of the interesting things that have come up with this card. So, some of the things I want to talk about here. The first one is going to be Infinite. Infinite, if you skip turn 5, you can play Infinite and She-Hulk on turn 6 and basically get a 6/20. For Havok to get up to that point, you basically almost have to play him on turn 2. Because on turn 2, he is going to have plus 4 power. So it goes 4, then 8, 4, then 8, then 16. Sorry, 4, then 8, then 12, then 16, then 20. So 24. So the highest you can get Havok is 24. And by skipping turn 5 and playing Infinite, you can get a 20 by itself. Another one that you kind of got to look at when you're looking at some of this card is stuff like the High Evolutionary. Not the High Evolutionary itself, but the Hulk and High Evolutionary. to get Hulk to be something decent in the 16-18 range, you only need to skip 3 turns. So, losing 1 energy for 3 turns, 1 max energy, so when you're at 5, you're not 4. 3 times will basically get Hulk up to the same power for 5 evolutionary Hulk. Now, I have heard some people talk about the Mr. Negative deck, where this is a power card. But what I don't understand, and that maybe somebody needs to explain it to me better, is usually in that deck you're playing the James Foster. Now, in order to play James Foster, you basically want to play her on 5. So then you're playing the Flip Havok on turn 6, so that you can get a 0-6 power point on that. That's what you're trying to do. You're almost better off playing Morph in there and hoping to roll high. Especially with so many people who are playing the Blob right now. Or play Morbius and do a quick end game where you play Morbius down and then you can play the MODOK and get that swing at the very end. If you were to look at how Adam Warlock is set up, it's almost the same as trying to get Adam Warlock to work. Adam Warlock is also a 2-0 that if you can make work can really win you a game. But it's hard to get it to win you a game. Now, by saying all this, you would make it seem like this is a horrible card that you can never buy. And it's not really. It's actually a decently good card. But the problem is it's only a decently good card in one deck. And the deck that it works in is a Viper deck. You basically play Havok on 2, you Viper it over on 3, and you basically make your opponent cry. I'm not sure what other deck you're throwing Havok into. And if you're looking for the surprise win game play of stuff, you're probably better off by playing Werewolf by Night and getting a couple hits off of that. Or you're better off almost playing Death the Baby Land Shark and just winging it into a location that people aren't expecting you to get. If you look at Jessica Jones is a 4-9 if you just don't play into her on turn 5. To get Havok up to 9, you basically have to put it down 3 turns ahead of time. That means you have to play Havok on turn 4. If you're playing a normal game. So for 4, 5, and 6. You have to put Havok down. And if you just did that with Jessica Jones and just played somewhere else on 5, you basically have about the same power output and nobody's playing Jessica Jones. Another one that you kind of got to look at when you do a side-by-side comparison is Psylocke. Psylocke is a 2-2 and gets used to +1 energy. We all know how many people play this card just to get the energy push on it. And we all know how valuable that energy push can be, and now you basically want to handicap yourself by not having that energy push. I'm really not sure if you can play this in any deck other than the Viper deck. If you are playing this in the Viper deck, there's some interesting cards you can throw into it. Of course, everybody's going to talk about the Shadow King. You basically play it down on turn 2, Viper it over, and on last turn you can play the Shadow King. With the Shadow King and the Viper itself, it's going to actually win against the Havok. Another one that I don't think a lot of people are looking into for a certain degree is Galactus. You push the Havok over, and then on turn 6 you play the Galactus in a different lane since they can't play anything. You're gonna make them cry. It's gonna have kind of that Elias Galactus where it's not that good, but it really annoys people kind of feel to it when you play Havok. That also being known, if you do Viper it over, if they don't retreat, they have some way of getting rid of it, which means they most likely are playing a Venom, which they can play right on that turn because they still have 3 energy when they get it. So, and if they do retreat, you got maybe 2 cubes out of it. The best case scenario is you start the game, you snap, you play the Havok on 2, you Viper on 3, and your opponent walks away. Maybe they snap back and you got 4 cubes off of it. But that's your ceiling. I don't know how you're ever getting an 8 cube gain off of this unless your opponent really just isn't paying attention. Now for the other stuff in the shop this week. Besides Havok, we've got Nico Memorial. Nico Memorial is a very interesting card. Kind of a quick army knife, but I would highly recommend that you wait for Nico Memorial for a better week than this week, or maybe look at how other people play her. She's not a card that defines itself. It's a very hard to pilot card that sometimes the spells don't work as well for you. The other one is Legion. Legion is kind of falling out of favor. It used to be a go-to card for manipulation, for location manipulation, but like right now, he's kind of has seen better days. If you don't own all 3, it's not the worst week to throw on. Legion's not that bad, and Nico's really what you kind of want to get off this week. Honestly, if you roll and you get Nico first, I might bounce this week. And not try to get the Legion or the Havok. I think a lot of these are going to come back in better weeks. And I think Havok's got to be looked at and played with and researched more than it is. Because right now, it's a 2-star card, but I want to put the biggest asterisk on that because it's a 2-star card unless it's in one particular deck. And that's the trash deck, that's the Venom deck, that's the junk deck, whatever deck you want to call it. The annoy you deck. Well, let's see what we get for this week, okay? What's in the box? What's in the box? Let's all find what's in the box. Box says Lady Deathstrike. That's gonna be an interesting one. Also, not the happiest because that's gonna be brought down coming soon. So do watch out for that if you're missing that 4th slot card right there for this week. With the series drop, you could still get one of the cards that's about to become series 3 in this slot. So just do watch out for that. If you're missing a series 4 card that's about to drop a series 3 in the series drop, do watch out for this particular slot this week. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play full on.